Hello. Tonight's Bible story happens at night, so when we tune in, Jesus had just eaten his last meal with his closest friends, the disciples. Let's see what happens. Play. Jesus knew it was his last meal, but they didn't. In fact, Jesus knew this was his very last night on earth, and he was struggling with this knowledge, struggling in his mind and in his heart. Jesus and his friends went to the olive grove called Gethsemane, where he could pray to God, his Father. He told his friends to sit there in the garden while he went a short distance away to pray.
My soul is crushed with grief to the point of death. Stay here, keep watch with me.
He went on a little farther and bowed with his face to the ground.
Let this cup of suffering be taken away from me. Yet I want your will to be done, not mine.
After Jesus prayed, he returned to the disciples and found them asleep.
Couldn't you keep watch with me even 1 hour?
Then Jesus left them a second time to pray.
My Father, if this cup cannot be taken away unless I drink it, your will be done.
Jesus was struggling so much that an angel from heaven approached to strengthen him. After the second time Jesus prayed, he came back, and do you know what he found? He found his disciples asleep again. Then he prayed a third time. Listen to how the Bible describes it. He prayed more fervently, and he was in such agony of spirit that his sweat dripped to the ground like blood. What a terrible struggle Jesus was going through. After his third prayer, Jesus came back to his sleeping disciples again. Just as Jesus woke his friends, there was movement in the olive grove.
Wait.
There he is!
Pause! I'm getting a little nervous. Let me check and see what's going on. Oh my goodness, it's just as I suspected. Roman soldiers are coming. What do you think Jesus and his friends should do? What do you think Jesus and the disciples should do? You think they should run? You think they should fight? Well, okay. Let's see what happens. Let's push play. Oh my goodness, look. Is that Judas leading the crowd? But he's one of the disciples. What's going on? The disciples wanted to protect Jesus. Jesus could have run away. He could have escaped. Instead, Jesus walked toward the soldiers. He walked toward the men who wanted to arrest him. And then the other disciples understood what was going to happen. The soldiers were going to arrest Jesus. They had to help. One cried out, "Lord, should we fight with swords?" And one of the disciples struck the servant of the high priest and slashed off his right ear. But Jesus said,
No more of this.
and he touched the man's ear and he healed him. Jesus said to the disciples,
Don't you realize that I could ask my Father for thousands of angels to come and he would send them instantly? But if I did, how would the scriptures be fulfilled that describe what must happen now?
Then Jesus turned to the soldier and said,
Am I some dangerous revolutionary that you come with swords and clubs to arrest me? Why didn't you arrest me in the temple? I was there teaching every day. But this is all happening to fulfill the words of the prophets as recorded in the scriptures.
At that point, the disciples turned and ran. And the guards arrested Jesus and took him away. This is such a difficult story to read. Why did one of the 12 disciples betray Jesus? Why did Jesus let himself be arrested? And why did the rest of the disciples run away and desert Jesus? What's going to happen now? This story has a lot of struggles in it. The dictionary says to struggle means to make your way with difficulty. Let's think about who struggled in this story. The disciples struggled just to stay awake. And then they struggled to protect Jesus. And they struggled to be good friends, but instead they deserted him. The servant of the high priest struggled when he got his ear slashed off. But Jesus faced the hardest struggle of all. He struggled because he was facing a very hard thing. And even though it was hard, he was willing to do what God asked him to do. We've all struggled in life. I know I've struggled. As a mom, I struggle balancing family and work, sometimes finances, making choices. Sometimes I just want to make fun choice, not the right choice. That's a struggle. I have to make the choice that's best for my family. And I know that kids struggle too. You guys struggle with difficult things. Sometimes we all have to go through situations that we can't change. Maybe you struggled when a close friend moved away and you felt really sad. Maybe you struggle at school with people being unkind to you. That happens. Or maybe you struggled with your parents divorcing. You can't change these situations, and they are definitely struggles. Everyone struggles. Today, we're learning that when you struggle, Jesus rescues. But we didn't see a lot of rescuing in this story today, did we? Jesus could have rescued himself. Did you hear it? He said that. He could have called on the angels, right? He said, if he asked, God would send thousands of angels to the rescue. But he didn't ask. He let himself be arrested. He let his friends struggle in a situation that they couldn't change. And they didn't understand that. And sometimes it's like that for us. Sometimes we have to struggle. Jesus doesn't promise to take away every hard situation. But he does promise to be there with us. And you know what we saw in this story tonight? Jesus knows what it's like to struggle. He struggled too. He's been through a really hard situation. And sometimes the most important thing when you're facing a struggle that you can't change is just to have a friend that you can talk to. Jesus can be that friend, and you can lean on him when you are in a struggle. This story isn't over. We'll have to come back tomorrow to see that Jesus does rescue. I hope you'll come back and find out what happens.